Hey everybody, welcome to Supplementary video 23.3 to 23.7. This is the first supplementary video that we have over the digestive system. So you had all the previous videos from the high school portion of this class kind of carrying through the alimentary canal, some of the accessory organs. So now we're just going to add a few things in now that we've gotten through those. So we're going to start with the salivary glands here, taking a look at the three pairs of the salivary glands that you have. You have the submandibular, so sub meaning below, and mandibular going to refer to the mandible. So you can see those submandibular salivary glands where they're going to sit. You kind of see the mandible faded here, that bone. You have the sublingual salivary glands, which are going to sub, again, meaning below, lingual going to be the tongue. So these are below the tongue, and you can see those there. And then you also have the parotid salivary glands, which are going to lie in between the skin and the masseter. So this muscle right here, you have a layer of skin, and then underneath that skin, you have the parotid salivary glands superficial to that masseter. Okay, other thing we're going to add in here, taking a look at the histology of the stomach. So that's going to be the tissue that we see the stomach made of. If you were to look at the inner lining of the stomach, you would see what are called gastric pits all along that inner surface. So this is where gastric glands are going to be secreting their gastric juice. So that's going to be the different things with hydrochloric acid, pepsinogen, things like that. If we go smaller than the tissue level and actually start looking at the cellular level, you'll see parietal cells and you'll see chief cells. You'll also see enteroendocrine cells, but we're not going to talk about those for this class here. The parietal cells that you have here, they are what are going to be secreting hydrochloric acid. And then these chief cells that you have along here, they're going to be secreting what's known as pepsinogen. Pepsinogen is the inactive form of pepsin, but when pepsinogen comes into contact with hydrochloric acid, it transforms it into forming pepsin, which combined with HCl is going to be responsible for chemically digesting proteins in the stomach. So here you can see those gastric pits. You can see the chief cells and the parietal cells that would be lining them if you were to zoom in. Okay. I also want to include just a chemical digestion review that we see for each of the four macromolecules. So carbohydrates, they're the first time they're going to start being chemically digested is in the mouth. Most of it, however, is going to be done by pancreatic amylase in the duodenum. So it starts in the mouth. You have the salivary amylase that's going to start the chemical digestion of carbs, but it's going to be done primarily in the duodenum. You have different enzymes that are going to help break down carbohydrates. Generally, how I suggest remembering it is that ASE chemically digests OSE. So we can see here sucrase is going to be responsible for digesting the disaccharide sucrose. Lactase will break down lactose, and then maltase will break down maltose. So anything with an ASE here is the enzyme, and then OSE is the carbohydrate that enzyme is going to chemically digest. When we take a look at proteins, we just talked about hydrochloric acid and pepsin being responsible for breaking them down into small chains. You also have trypsin being made in the pancreas, which is going to be breaking off amino acids so that your body can then use those amino acids to build its own proteins. Lipids are going to be broken down chemically by lipase. Pretty much all lipase is going to originate from the pancreas, and it will be released in the small intestine. And nucleic acid is going to be broken. The nucleic acids are going to be broken down by deoxyribonuclease and ribonuclease. This one's going to break down DNA. This one is going to break down RNA. Again, here's another spot where ASE breaks down OSE. So deoxyribonuclease and ribonuclease are both going to come from the pancreas. They'll break down those nucleic acids that you can then use the ribose, the deoxyribose, those phosphate, as well as the nitrogenous bases as you build your own nucleic acids. Okay. So just a quick addition to the alimentary canal and the accessory organ videos that you've been getting in the high school portion of this class. Really, there's not a lot of extra videos that I'm going to be making for the digestive system because either it's covered in the high school portion of this side as we go through the GI tract and the accessory organs, but also because of what I cover in just the regular biology class. When we go over the cell respiration, lactic acid fermentation, and things like that, I go into those very in depth in regular biology, even though some of that stuff is at the collegiate level. So we've already covered those, so I don't include those in the high school or in the high school portion of this class, really, and I'm not going to include those in this site either. If you need review of those, you're more than welcome to take a look in the textbook. They do get covered again in pretty much the same depth that I cover them.